Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, worshippers of all ages, welcome to YouTube. My name is SeaRaptor, and today we're bringing you a first look at Tier VII British cruiser HMS Surrey. Of course, the British are about to inherit a heavy cruiser line to go alongside their existing light cruiser line already in the game. They're going to look just like the Americans in that regard, and Wargaming has given us these ships to test in the last week and a half or so. Now, once upon a time, they gave us these ships. We could look at them on public test, look but not touch. That has changed. They're just kind of giving them to them on the live server now, and so we're just having to kind of. This is probably later than I would have liked to have done it, but at least we're getting around to it, so we can talk about Surrey in the proper context of where she fits in with the other Tier 7 cruisers. So let's have a look. For starters, HP pool, 35,000 hit points. A little more than 35,000 hit points is pretty healthy for the tier. Pretty comparable to the other heavy cruisers at the tier. Mainly what I'm going to be really talking about probably is German Yorck, you see down here. The French, Algerie. Possibly went to Indianapolis, but mostly Zara over in the Italian tree. And then, of course, New Orleans as well in the Americans. Of the other heavy cruisers at this tier, Myoko remains king. She comes in at nearly 40,000 hit points, but 35,000 hit points, nothing to sneeze at, and very, very respectable for this tier. Her armor, and of course you see here, torpedo protection, 22%. That is best in tier. A little surprising. Her armor, she comes in with a 152 millimeter belt. So technically that is best in tier, but it's kind of deceptive. Let me show you what I mean. Her citadel spaces are actually very small, right? If you look, like that's the citadel, right? Just extending from just forward of the stacks all the way to just forward of where her aft turrets start. So the citadel space is not that big. That's the only place that she has this thick belt. If you go look at a ship like Zara, like if you've watched my video on Italian cruiser Zara at the same tier, you heard me gush about how her armor configuration makes her the best protected Tier 7 cruiser. Despite what this armor belt might indicate, in my opinion, Surrey does not steal that crown away from Zara. The belt is marginally thicker, but overall Zara's protection is much better. Let me give you an example. Look at these turrets, right? These are twin-barreled 203 millimeter turrets with only 25 millimeters of armor on basically every face, even the back. Now, the fact that you've only got 25 millimeters on the glacis plate of a turret like this just seems unforgivable. And yet, when you go do a little research, you discover Myoko's turrets are just like this, 25 millimeters all around. However, most nations have basically gone for a pretty hefty glacis plate up there on the front of their heavy cruiser turrets. Even the triple turrets on Fiji. Fiji is the light cruiser, the British light cruiser, HMS Fiji. She's a triple-barreled 152 millimeter turret. Even that has 102 millimeters of armor on the glacis plate of this turret. She's 16 millimeters on the bow. She's got this 19 millimeter kind of casemate armor thing going on above the citadel belt. Surrey, like, she's not squishy, not really, but I think she's going to just get overpenned to hell and gone all day long because she's just got so little armor outside of this, right? So that, again, you look at this number, 152 millimeters, that's awesome. Well, dig a little deeper and you find it's maybe not everything is what it appears. Her AA, defensively, is pretty solid. I mean, it's roughly the equivalent of, if you want to try and find an existing ship to kind of compare her to, I'd say she's very, very close to Tier 7 American Premium USS Boise. Her long-range aura here is pretty average. Her mid-range aura, though, is really solid. 252 damage in the mid-range is pretty good. And again, it's on the back of these 40mm Vickers 2-pounders, kind of the predecessor to the Beauforts. The Beauforts didn't enter the British Navy until a little later, and so this was what they used in the interim. And her short-range aura is I'd say similarly, it's a little above average. But yeah, it's these Vickers guns that really give her a lot of punch for her AA. Main battery-wise, as we mentioned earlier, she is running 4 turrets, 2 forward, 2 aft, twin-barreled turrets of 203 millimeter shells. Now, the UI will tell you these guns reload in 11 seconds. That is a lie. These guns reload in 13 seconds. That's pretty typical, right? I mean, again, you have to compare her to her counterparts. This is an identical main battery type and configuration as Yorck, Algerie, and Zara. And they all reload in anywhere from 13 to 15 seconds or something along those lines. So this is 13 seconds is right about where you'd be able to, you would kind of expect to find the ship. But if you look a little farther down there, you're going to see her main battery range is only 14.8 kilometers. That is atrociously bad. That is easily worst in tier. If you thought the range on Zara's guns or Myoko's guns was bad, ladies and gentlemen, say hello to HMS Surrey. She's definitely tough to play. Her HE shells hit about the same as those of the Americans and the French. 2850 damage there per shell. The EP shells are worse in terms of damage per shell, but they'll still do good work against enemy cruisers kind of once you get the timing and the lead time down. That 814 meters per second exit velocity is a little on the low side. Torpedoes, basically the same as Fiji. 8 kilometers, 61 knot speed. She's running an extra barrel. These are quad tube launchers rather than triple tubes, which is what Fiji runs. So she gets an extra tube, which is nice because she still can use the British single fire torpedoes. Maneuverability, here we see 30 knots is, this is bad. Like this is bad. She doesn't get anywhere quickly, unfortunately. Her handling is pretty good. 660 radius, turning radius there, and 9.4 on the rudder shift is not bad. But she's gonna feel sluggish, right, when you put her in a game with some of these other zippy little light cruisers and stuff. Concealment wise, again, we're coming in at 11.2 base at tier 7. Of course, we don't have access to concealment module. That does mean, though, that her stealth is not bad. She's going to come in. Hang on a minute. I got to tab over and look at my spreadsheet again because I forgot to make a note on this. What's her max? She gets down to 9.8, which does make her the stealthiest heavy cruiser at tier 7. But there are other cruisers that can outspot her. Belfast, for example. Bizarrely, this ship outspots Fiji, the light cruiser at this tier. So she can be a surprise, and I think that's one of the ways players are going to have to learn to kind of play this ship, just kind of being able to work that detection radius to sneak in, land a couple of solid punches, and get out. Just because her gun range is so low. Consumables wise, come back over here again. We're looking at, of course, standard repair party. You have heal. This is a standard heal. This is the same heal that you find on HMS Fiji at the tier, so this is not the British supercruiser heal. They don't get that until tier 8. Used wisely, these will absolutely keep you in a game longer than most other same tier cruisers. The reason for that is the only tech tree cruiser with a heal at tier 7 is the aforementioned HMS Fiji, the British light cruiser. Premium-wise, there are a couple other tier 7 cruisers that have a heal. USS Boise, and Nueve de Julio, and Duca degli Abruzzi all come with a similar heal, but again, premium ships. So if you're looking for heals in the tech tree, you're not going to find them anywhere but the British in terms of tier 7 cruisers. The Hydro here is British Destroyer Hydro, 3-kilometer range, so short range, long duration. Really good defensively, but using this offensively is going to require basically the Destroyer player to screw up and sit in his smoke when you're closing, or just, for him to make bad positioning choices. You're probably not going to be hunting down too many Destroyers with this, but it should be able to keep you and help screen your enemies from torpedoes. And of course, again, spotter plane there at the end, giving her a little bit extra range. Trust me, this ship needs the spotter plane. And these are the only choices, right? Like there are no options here on these consumables. It's heal, hydro, and spotter is what you get. There is no choice. Anyway, guys, there you go. Quick look at Tier 7 HMS Surrey. I've got at least one game on the channel here. I'll drop a link down below that I've played this ship. You can have a go look at it in action and see what you think for yourself. Anyways, we'll keep going with the rest of the British cruiser line here shortly. Thanks for watching. Be safe out there, and I'll catch you next time.